So for the first time ever in a video, Brad's going to join me in a little tipple since we're talking about something so stupid. So yeah, Brad. Ching ching, motherfucker. Let's go. So we're just going to jump straight into this one today because I genuinely can't believe I get to talk about something called cello scrotum and still market this series of videos as being educational in nature.
What is cello scrotum?
Well, cello scrotum, for those of you at home who are curious, and for all the men currently wincing in pain and crossing their legs, it's not a real medical condition. However, for 3 decades, starting from 1974, doctors absolutely thought it was, all thanks to a single letter written by one Dr. Elaine Murphy. Yeah, so Brad, I can see you struggling for words there, my friend, about how to possibly broach the subject of how, pray tell, did a woman in the 1970s with a single letter somehow convince the entire medical community about the existence of this nebulously defined condition known as cello scrotum? And I'll tell you, Brad, she did it as a joke. Specifically, according to a 2009 interview given by Dr. Murphy, explaining that cello scrotum was in fact something she made up all those years ago. She was inspired to create the condition after reading an article in the British Medical Journal about something called guitar nipple.
That one also sounds made up.
It does, doesn't it? And we'll get to that in a moment. But I should point out that the naming conventions we're talking about here aren't that far out of the realm of possibility for naming medical conditions. Obviously, tennis elbow is a thing. And obviously, people don't know tennis elbows, where it's a strain in the elbow commonly suffered by tennis players without how often they hit the rackets. And then there's boxer's sprain, is all that springs to mind, which is a sprain commonly suffered by, who'd have guessed it, boxers when they punch things. And obviously, that's what they refer to it in actual medical literature.
Oh, don't forget jogger's nipple as well.
Oh, who can forget jogger's nipple? If you don't know what jogger's nipple is, first of all, you're lucky. Second of all, it's a serious fucking deal, and it's caused by like friction of like a shirt constantly rubbing against your nips. And as you can imagine, it's constantly suffered by joggers, hence the name jogger's nipple. But like, you can see pictures of it like during marathons and stuff like that. And you'll see marathon runners who, for some inexplicable reason, decide to wear white, running with just blood streaming out of the nips. And you think, is the world record worth bleeding nips? And I'm going to say no. If they said to me, Karl, you can be a world-class runner, I'm saying, oh wow, it's going to take years of training and months of hard work, but you will get there. Oh wow, I think I could do that. Also, your nips will bleed. No, I'm good. You know what? No. It's like if they told me like being a world-class marathon runner means bleeding nips, you might have to take a shit backside at road, like Paula Radcliffe did, and have the world media watch and take pictures of it. It's like, you know what? I think I might try rowing.
So Karl, we've covered jogger's nipple. Tell us more about guitar nipple.
Well, guitar nipple, from my extensive Googling on the subject, as far as I can tell, is a form of contact dermatitis commonly suffered by guitar players who hold the guitar too close to their chest. And I'm going to presume that the Beatles especially suffered terribly with guitar nipple, considering how high they used to hold their guitars early in their career.
So it's the same principle as jogger's nipple,
Yeah,
with the
which is why I'm glad you
guitarist
brought it up, because it made a really nice segue. According to Dr. Murphy, she took one look at this article in the British Medical Journal and began laughing her absolute tits off alongside her husband because she couldn't believe such a respected publication had talked about something so stupid.
We shouldn't laugh, Karl. It's a very, very serious issue.
Yeah, like guitar nipple claims the lives of at least one guitarist every year annually. It's like they need to do PSAs on this shit and just have like black and white footage of just like famous guitarists just crying over their guitars because their chosen profession caused them so much pain and anguish. I did do some research on guitar nipple, and while the British Medical Journal insists that it's a real condition that guitarists suffer with, I've never heard of any guitarist anywhere ever complain about it. The most complained about thing with guitars is how much they weigh. And a good example of this, like as a bonus fact, is Kurt Cobain. He had a problem with his spine, I think it was, where he had like a slight curvature of the spine, which was like compounded by the fact he played the guitar the wrong way. And what he did is he self-medicated with heroin, which obviously led to his overdose and his death. And like experts have said, like if he'd have bought another guitar that went left, the weight would have actually corrected the problem, and Kurt Cobain might still be alive today. So Kurt Cobain was killed by his guitar. Fuck guitar nipple, like murderous guitars are out there, man.
So understandably, Murphy laughed her ass off.
Oh yeah, she found this entire thing hilarious.
And what was the response following the laughter?
She decided to try and slip something else under the radar and create a condition even stupider than guitar nipple. Enter cello scrotum.
So we know that cello scrotum isn't a real thing.
Oh no, it's complete and utter bullshit that was made up by one doctor having a laugh in the 1970s.
But what does she say the symptoms were?
She didn't really list any, as far as I'm aware. So I've researched cello scrotum extensively, so you can all be sure of that. But as far as I'm aware, she just described it as like, this nebulous pain in the scrotal region suffered by male cello players, and that was apparently enough to get her letter that she wrote to the British Medical Journal published. Just to be clear, I have actually researched cello scrotum and couldn't find any definitive description of what exactly it is or what it's caused by, which has led me to assume it involves a combination of crushing, chafing, and carefully concealed woodpeckers.
So you said she managed to get this published in the British Medical Journal?
Yes, the very reputable British Medical Journal, one of the most respected medical journals on the entire planet.
How?
Well, I should probably point out, if I wrote a letter to the BMJ tomorrow saying, yes, I have noticed amongst my musician friends a strange new condition afflicting them all. I am dubbing today Triangle Players Bell End, and sign that shit, Karl Smallwood, CEO, MD, Big Wangers Incorporated. They write that thing off as a joke, but what Dr. Elaine Murphy did, she, obviously using her credentials as a doctor, filled her letter with loads of medical jargon that made it sound more, plausible, and then signed it with her husband's name to hide the fact that she was doing it. She didn't want her name linked to something like cello scrotum.
But her husband's name is fine.
Well, he wasn't a doctor, so it's fine. But obviously, she didn't want her medical credentials being fucked up by the fact something like cello scrotum, and she just thought it'd be funny to write in and just see. Imagine her surprise when the BMJ published her letter and its findings in its very next issue.
Did they not even fact check it?
Well, you don't need to, Brad, because they had all the evidence they needed in a single letter from a doctor they'd never heard of saying, oh yeah, lots of male cellists that I've met really have sore nutsacks. This is a medical issue that needs to be discussed.
So you open this by saying that this was around for 30 years.
30 straight years. Yeah, for 30 years, if you were a male cello player, you could be diagnosed with cello scrotum.
Was this not just something that was published once and then in 30 years later she revealed it was fake?
No, 'cause if that was the case, this wouldn't be funny. But no, many doctors who read that article, rightfully said, this is bullshit, this is not a real thing, and wrote letters to the British Medical Journal saying, it's not real, you can't suffer from painful scrotum from playing a cello. Please, retract this article and issue an apology. And they never did.
This obviously begs the question, has anybody actually been diagnosed with cello scrotum?
That I do not know, unfortunately, which is understandable given that men who suffer pain in their scrotum don't tend to talk about it all that much. What I do know, though, is that 35 years after that original article was published, the BMJ was still publishing articles about it, and that original study had been cited by multiple other people. So it was still around and was still a thing that many people were aware of. And especially in the cello playing community, it was a rumour that constantly circulated amongst orchestras that, yeah, if you play the cello for too long, you can, injure your scrotum. Which is kind of hilarious to me. So there are legitimate medical conditions a lot of people in orchestras do suffer from. I think tinnitus is one that a lot of violinists suffer from, because obviously you're holding a giant musical instrument 3 inches away from your ear. And a lot of people carry on some the heavier brass instruments, stuff like back pain and stuff in later life. But cello scrotum was another one of those medical maladies that was talked about in hushed tones amongst male cello players, going, mate, you might get a rough case of cello scrotum if you play this too hard. If you play that particular cello solo too hard, you might rip your nutsack off. I know that cello scrotum isn't real, but I do hope during the 35 years it was recognised by the medical community as being a real thing people could suffer from, that at least one bloke got a day off with it. Because he deserved it at that point. If you've got a pain in your balls and you play the cello, you've already got enough things wrong with your life. You can deserve a day off, don't you?
So we know about this now?
Yes.
So at some point, she has to have come clean?
Yes, Dr. Elaine Murphy in 2009, who at that point was a fucking baroness, had completely forgotten about, cello scrotum, the monster. How could she forget about something that affects so many men's scrotums? Until she read about it in another issue of the British Medical Journal and went, wow, is that still a thing? I should probably tell them that it's not real. And she called them up and did another interview and said, yeah, it's not real, I made it up. Really sorry, guys. It's just something I did as a joke with my husband back in the day. And almost immediately the British Medical Journal was like, oh, fuck, and issued a retraction straight away.
There must have been a cataclysmic aftermath to the removal of cello scrotum.
Not as bad as you think, but a few, publications were left with red faces because they'd cited that original study in their own, papers on, common injuries suffered by musicians, like tinnitus in violin players and shit like that. So they had to additionally publish their own retraction saying, yeah, this isn't real. We're sorry for mentioning cello scrotum. But here's my favourite part. Even after all this, the British Medical Journal still continues to list guitar nipple as a genuine condition. So this is the last of the mixer and of the rum we were drinking. So Brad, how does it feel to finally drinking one of these videos alongside me?
Feels good.
Do you feel like it's made any difference whatsoever to the final product?
Well, I mean, we went off on it for about 10-15 minutes earlier.
Oh yeah, we're really sorry about that. I'm not sure if that's going to make it into the actual video, but we talked about it for 10 minutes about various sports loopholes we've heard about.
Most of it'll be in the extended one if we ever get
the extended cut.
Ah, yeah. Director's edition.
But you know what? You don't have to go on Patreon to get that. You just have to go to my YouTube channel. It's just there.
Plug that.
It's just there.
This is the spot where we plug things.
Oh, we can plug. What do you plug?
I don't know. Twitter and Instagram. Let's do that.
Oh yeah, follow Brad on Instagram. He's getting pissed off whenever he sees me tweet or post a photo. Why does no one like my photos? Brad, because no one knows who the fuck you are. Plug it now. Put the link right here. Put it over my face. There you go. Done.
I had an Instagram months before Karl did, and I said to Karl, hey dude, you might want to get an Instagram, it's a good platform for sharing pictures and stuff on. He got it, and within 2 days, he sort of quadrupled my number of followers, and now he's got 1,000, and I'm stuck on 200 and something.
I just live that kind of life. I live that prime influencer lifestyle.
I remember when we first started this channel, there was a point in one of the early videos where you were like, oh, I'll never refer to myself as a YouTuber. And then when we were having pizza the other day, I remember you saying, oh, it's the lifestyle of a YouTuber, man.
That's a joke.
Sure it was. You're slowly transforming. We're getting closer and closer.
Oh, no. The day that I do, I'm just going to be like, oh, no, just shoot me in the face. Just end it now. Giant Meteor 2020.
Also, I'd like everyone now to go to the comment section and see how quickly you find a comment about Karl having a piece of his neck missing. Because they'll do it. You know they'll do it.
Well, I didn't even notice that. I just put a white t-shirt on. I didn't realise this is the white t-shirt. Oh, actually, wait, here we go.
Oh, God.
We can do it.
Wait, no, is there that one?
Is there any pictures behind me?
Maybe at the
Let's put a picture behind me like a dog. Yeah, can blend in. I am now, doggo.
I didn't realise you were wearing that specific one.
I love this shirt. It's the best.
I just love the fact that people don't think it's intentional.
My favourite is someone watches it and goes, they've missed a trick here. Do you know when you're the 7 hours you spent editing it and putting all the shit in the background? You never once noticed that, this shirt has the exact same colour as the green screen, blends into the green screen. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to leave a comment letting them know. I know it's the 4,000th comment, but that's the one they're going to notice, and they're going to fix this, and they're going to take down this video and delete the channel. Are we ever going to talk about it, or should we just do it now? Because I'm sick of the comments about it.
If people followed me on Twitter, they'd already know.
Yes, I do know that the green in this tattoo messed with the green screen, because I instructed the tattooist who did it, who is a close personal friend, to mix a shade of green that was the exact same colour as this green screen. To the point where I took in a picture of the green screen and told them to mix a shade of green that was the same colour, purely to piss off Brad. My favourite bit as well is, I told Brad about this before, he went, I'm just going to get a blue screen. So do you know what I did? I went and got a blue bit of a tattoo put in. And they said, well, we can always get a red screen. I went, oh yeah, good luck with that, mate.
Yeah, my suggestion,
red bit put in as well.
My suggestion was to get one of the chroma screens. You can change the colour of the screen with lights on the camera.
So I made sure I got every single colour of the rainbow. There's I think I got the entire Roy G. Biv scale in there, just to make sure Brad will never, ever be able to make a video on this channel again that isn't where I'm not fucking with a green screen in some way.